back with comedian Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So it's day one back doing actual work, and I am completely fucked. This is my first full day's work. This is 12-hour days. This is 6:30 to 6:30, and it's the first one I've done in, I can't even remember. 2 months? 10 weeks? 3 months? God knows. Honestly, I haven't even done a half day's work in that long either. So it is a shock to the system. Jesus Christ. I was ready to tap out at 3 o'clock. There was another guy there who's been at the same job sites I've been at for the last few months. And he's been doing short hours as well. And he came to this new joint with me. And at about 3:30, I was speaking to him like, dude, I am absolutely fucking exhausted. And he's like, I almost fell asleep before. I almost fell off the chair. I'm like, fucking hell. We're back at this again, and I'm in like proper tunnels now. Like I'm undercover in a tunnel doing, and it's hard work. It's harder work than it was before. This is overhead work. You're shooting nails overhead into shotcrete, which is just falling into your eyes. It's somehow getting around the safety glasses and still getting in my eyes. And because we're in the tunnels now, it's just respirator the whole time. So I'm in a mask all day. 12-hour day, I'm in a proper face mask 10 hours. It's fucking brutal, lads. But thank Christ, it's only until Christmas. Oh, and the other thing, it's down 5 flights of stairs. No, it's not even 5. It's like 8 or 10 flights of stairs. It's a giant, it's double the size of any hole I've been into. And there's no alley mac on this one. It's just stairs because the alley mac's too fucking loud. So you got to walk down the stairs and up the stairs. Down the stairs to start, up the stairs for lunch, back down the stairs, and then up the stairs at the end of the day, which was a fucking tough climb. A very tough climb. And the other bad thing is it's about a 10-minute walk to where you have to park the car because it's just street parking. So you just got to fucking find a park wherever. And after a full fucking day's work and the walk up the stairs, the walk to the car's rough. It's real rough. So I just got home. I had a coffee. I'm like, I'm doing the potty like immediately so I can just pass out. Normally I would come home and play with the kids or hang out with the kids or just sit around while the kids are around. And I would do everything after they sleep. But now I'm just straight in the door, straight to the pod. Fucking let's get this fucking show on the road. And fucking let's get this show on the road. It's Monday, baby. It's the first day of the week. The first day of a 2-week stretch for me. That's going to be rough. But it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's Ask Boyle time. So if you have a question you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation or any generation, comedian, philosopher, crane operator, there's an asterisk on that, waterproofer extraordinaire, Le Boyle, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com, fling in your Ask Boyles. There's sections there for Ask Boyles. There's sections there for Fucked Up Fridays. Keep sending in your Fucked Up Fridays. There's sections there to sign up for the Patreon. Get on that. Do it all there. There's even t-shirts for sale still. Why don't you buy a t-shirt, you cunts? Anyway, it's all at the website, boylecomedy.com. Go there, sort it out. Let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in from Jim. Jim with no fucking location. Anyway, Here's Jim's question. Hi, Boyle. Love the podcast. I have a question for the greatest philosopher of all time. I don't know if I'd call myself the greatest. One of the greatest. Certainly one of the greatest. I don't know if I'd say the greatest, but there's an argument to be had. Anyway, greatest philosopher of all time. For me, quitting alcohol, that was not... I have a question for the greatest philosopher of all time. For me, it's full stop and then. For me, quitting alcohol has been quite easy, but quitting porn and doing nofap, not so much. Can you share with us your experience with nofap and quitting jerking off? Would appreciate the wisdom. Well, Jim's mowing. You have come to the right place. Well, I did. I was on a very good run. An excellent run of no fap. What is fap anyway? It's just jerking off, isn't it? No fap. Let's see what's going on here. What is no fap? No fap is a movement that encourages people to stop masturbating, particularly to pornography. Some reported benefits of nofap include increased happiness, boosted confidence, increased motivation and willpower, lower levels of stress and anxiety, heightened spirituality, self-acceptance, improved attitude and appreciation toward other sexes, better mood, attitude and sense of self, reduced brain fog, fewer symptoms of depression. Now, my experience with it, so when did I start? I started that 2022 to 23, it was on New Year's. So I went that whole year and then into this year. So it must have been 2023. So into this year, and the thing is, it was the first 6 weeks were very, very difficult. And it wasn't one of those things where I stopped because I was doing it an egregious amount. I wasn't doing it, but it was one of those things where I'm I'm getting old. This is disgusting. It is a distraction. You're just doing it for the same reason you would do drugs or fucking alcohol or whatever. You feel uncomfortable about something, there's a stressful situation, your mind goes towards sex, and then you just want to release, feel good, and then a release. That's basically, it's a drug. It's a drug the same as anything else is a drug, and it has the same fucking effects. So I started, the first 6 weeks was pretty hard. It was pretty hard to stop because, my wife was, she was in Melbourne. She was in Sydney. I was in India. So it was full nothing. So it was very difficult. But I found the no jerking off did improve a lot of things. You just have to white knuckle it through the first period. And I'm not too sure what happens if you don't have a partner though. Because what happens is, when you stop jerking off, your libido actually increases. So instead of beating off 47 times in a week, I don't really like talking about sex that much. It improves that part of your relationship. It does. Because it all gets focused into one point. And sometimes in a relationship, you just get real fucking lazy and you just can't be bothered. So you end up fucking jerking off and whatever. But if you're not jerking off, then you've got no options. You've got no fucking outlets. You got to make it happen. So it definitely improved everything on that side of the fucking spectrum. But without a partner, I don't know how you would get over that urge every time. There was a few times I talked myself back down, if you know what I mean. You get real excited and then you just talk yourself back down. And once you've talked yourself back down, or once you've lowered your excitement levels, you just get on with your day, and nothing seemed to have changed. I did that a few times, and it's hard. It's like a meditation technique, because with that, I think honestly, everything in my life improved when I stopped. And then I got this fucking job, and sometimes you're just so fucking exhausted and so fucked that you're like, all right, I need to do something. I need something going on here, and I can't be fucked doing anything else. I'm exhausted, and I just need a little dopamine hit, all right? And then I got on the Tongat Ali, and if you want to know FAP, don't get on the Tongat Ali. That's for sure. But this isn't really advice, is it? This is just me talking about jerking off. Look, you've got to treat it like a drug or alcohol as well. Don't think it's just some harmless thing, because it does take a lot away from you. I feel like it does dull you. I think it fucks with a lot of internal stuff. I don't think it's a natural thing to do. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I don't think the fucking cavemen and shit like that would just run around jerking off like fucking madmen like we are now. I think most of the jerking off we're doing has to do with obviously it's the porn and just the exposure to sex. It's just fucking everywhere. You don't even notice it, but you turn on a music clip and you've never noticed it in your entire life until you're sitting there with your kids and you're like, oh, this is all fucking smut. You're like, turn it off. You're just fucking surrounded by it. And then you walk down the street and you're like, Jesus Christ, girls aren't wearing bras anymore. Every time I walk down the street now, there's just titties bouncing left, right, and center. And that's the directions they're going, left, right, fucking center, no bra. How are you meant to deal with that on a daily basis, just walking down the street? But like any drug, you need to find ways to avoid that trigger. I know what it's like. It gets into your head, then you get the rush of blood to the head, and you're like, the only way I can fix this is if I do that. But it's not true. If you sit in that emotion for a little while and just watch it. It's like a meditation thing as well. If you watch it and see how fucking stupid it is, you can bring it back down. And also, it's the realizing the emotional state you're in at the time and not letting it fucking snowball, or just noticing why you're doing it. If you notice every time you're doing it, it's not because you're horny. You're not that fucking horny. You're probably just depressed, and you don't want to feel fucking depressed for a millisecond. What I would do, firstly, if you want to quit properly, you got to make a strong decision. You're like, all right, I'm not going to do it for a fucking year, no matter what. That was easier for me because I've made a bunch of those decisions. So when I decided to do it on that New Year's, it was just done. And then I was like, all right, now I'll just deal with it along the way. So that's the first thing. You need to make the strong decision. Then you need to watch yourself whenever the urge arises. Notice your emotional state. And when you begin noticing what's triggering it, then you can start figuring out ways to avoid doing it. If you know why you're doing something, it's easier to stop doing that thing. Anyway, I hope that helped. All this talk about jerking off has got me excited, so I'm just about to go and beat off. That'll do for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.